You didn't block her. You didn't lash out. You just stopped texting first. Not out of pettiness. Not to play games. But because you finally realized, silence doesn't lie. And that silence, it told her everything she needed to know, about you, and about herself. If you've ever been the one holding on too long, waiting on a reply that never came, this might feel like your story. Subscribe to LifefactZ.daily, and let's heal from the patterns that drained us. You didn't walk away. You just stopped knocking on a closed door. You stopped texting her first. You stopped checking in. Stopped reminding her you existed. And at first, it didn't feel like a bold decision. It felt like quiet exhaustion. Because deep down, you realized, you were the only one initiating. And that's when something shifted, in her, not just you. Because here's what most people don't understand. When a woman no longer hears from you, something inside her either wakes up, or shuts down. And her reaction says more than her words ever could. Let's walk through the emotional phases she goes through, and what they reveal about her, about the connection, and about how modern relationships really work. 1. Confusion sets in. She notices the silence. The absence of your name in her notifications. And she wonders, did something happen? Not necessarily because she misses you. But because you were always there. You were consistent. Emotionally available. Predictable in a world that rarely is. And without that constant, her mind starts filling in the blanks. But it's not always love that she's missing, sometimes, it's just the comfort of being wanted. 2. The ego flinches. This is where things get real. Because if she never had to try, if she was used to you showing up without asking, your silence won't just feel confusing, it'll feel threatening. The ego kicks in. Not the heart. The part of her that liked feeling in control starts to panic. Why did he stop? Did he lose interest? Was he even serious? But she doesn't ask those questions out loud. Instead, she might test you. Post something cryptic. Share a thirst trap. Act unbothered, while hoping you notice. This isn't about love. This is about her control slipping. 3. Testing the waters. If the silence continues, she might reach out. But it'll be subtle. A low-effort check-in. Hey stranger. You good? Not because she genuinely wants to reconnect. But because she wants to see if she still has access. If you reply quickly, she knows she still has power. If you delay, she feels the balance shifting. If you don't respond at all, that's when the truth hits. She was never giving equally. She just got used to receiving. 4. Reflection or replacement. At this point, she'll do one of two things. If she cared deeply, your silence will make her reflect. She'll examine her own effort. She might reach out with intention. She might apologize. She might try, for the first time, to meet you where you are. But if she was never really invested, she won't reflect. She'll replace. Distraction becomes her way of coping. She might start talking to someone else, not because they matter, but because she can't sit in the stillness of her own emotional emptiness. This is where a lot of people mistake movement for healing. But hopping to someone new doesn't fix what's broken inside. 5. The psychological why. Why does this happen? Why do some people only react once you're gone? Because for many, love isn't love, it's a game of reassurance. And when that reassurance fades, so does their illusion of control. Psychologically, some women attach through attention, not connection. They crave the dopamine hit of being desired. But when it's time to reciprocate, they freeze. Or avoid. Or coast on bare minimum effort, expecting you to carry the emotional labor. You were never just a person. You were a mirror. And when you stopped holding it up, she finally had to face herself. 6. The Stoic Perspective. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In your silence, you did both. You stopped doing what drained you. You stopped saying what wasn't being heard. You didn't beg. You didn't guilt trip. You just stepped back and watched what unfolded. That's not manipulation. That's clarity. Because sometimes, the best way to see someone's intentions is to stop making it easy for them to hide behind yours. 7. The Hard Truth. If she really wanted you, she'd know what to do. And if she didn't, you're better off knowing now. Because what you were offering wasn't ordinary. Consistency. Care. Effort. These days, that kind of energy is rare, and often taken for granted. But the truth is, you shouldn't have to disappear to be seen. You shouldn't have to stop trying to be appreciated. You shouldn't have to dim your light just to be noticed when it's gone. That's not love. That's emotional survival. Let her reaction to your silence teach you what her words never did. If she stepped forward, it was real. If she vanished, it was conditional. You didn't lose her. You lost the illusion. And sometimes, that's the most healing thing that could happen. If this story touched something you've been holding in silence, don't scroll past your own healing. Share this with someone who needs clarity. And subscribe to LifefactZ, where we turn every heartbreak into a moment of growth.